So you're most welcome, Mr. BeeWol.
Don't kneel. Talk to camera. Talk to camera. It's okay.
You're most welcome to Social Gen.
Yeah.
I'm the brand ambassador currently, but I've also been working here as the influencer and brand recruitment specialist.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm so glad you've come on board because
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Very happy to be here.
I've been seeing your work and you've done amazing.
I need my parents to watch this because
Yes, so
Yeah.
today I want us to talk to influencers out there, or people in general who don't
Yeah.
know what we do, what influencers are. Because for us to be, me to be a brand ambassador, I have to first be an influencer.
Yeah.
For you to be the head of Lead Influencers Africa, you have to first be an influencer. So in this influencing sector, who would you call an influencer? What is an influencer? What do you think you would say an influencer is?
Well, I think anyone and everyone can be an influencer, right? The word itself, I mean, the word influence is just the ability to direct people's conversations, people's thoughts, people's opinions about subjects, and so anybody can be an influencer. The thing, though, in the regards to social media influencer, this is basically somebody who uses their social media platforms or uses their social media real estate to push narratives, to push products, to push services, to get people talking about particular subjects. That's really, in a nutshell, what an influencer is. I mean, as I said, everybody and anyone can be an influencer. If you're online and you can shape narratives, you can make people talk about something, you can convince people to think a certain way, buy a certain product, talk about something, you're an influencer, basically.
I didn't even know I was an influencer.
Yeah.
Until I started being called an influencer.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Most people never really know that they are.
Yeah.
And yet they actually are. As long as you can, as I said, influence opinion discussions, you're an influencer.
You know, I didn't when I entered the industry, this digital marketing industry. It was basically I was a host, so I didn't know that what I was actually doing was influencing people to actually come and support me.
And for a person like you, who has, first of all, a huge followership online, being an influencer is almost second nature in the sense that you do it even when you don't know that you're you're just living your life, you're just being you. You know, you take your picture, you share, and you're influencing people to ask, what skincare routine are you using?
What hair is that? Where did you do your hair from, your nails from? That's how I got I was influencing. Like, imagine, I didn't know that all these people who are following me, my first, I think most followers of mine were coming from Snapchat. And they're asking you, okay, where did you get your hair? And I would see someone telling you, oh my God, Chris, in the video you posted for me, I got 10 clients, 20 clients. And I'm like, so I can actually start earning money from. Then I actually found out it's a whole field in its own.
It's massive, and you can make big money.
Yeah, and once you tap into this field,
oh my God, there's a lot of opportunity.
I'm telling you, I've literally caught flights.
Yeah, I know.
So when I tell you that it amazes me, that's why I wanted to have this conversation today, because I wanted to sit down with someone who also understands, who has been there, and you know so much about the history of influencing. Like, that is I just landed in it by mistake. I may be good at it, but it was like...
It was accidental.
It was accidental.
But I mean, there are people who purpose themselves and say, me, I want to be an influencer. But there are people who wake up and just bump into things and you're like, oh crap, I have all these followers. What do I do
What
with
do I do with them? So you have to now learn. I had to start learning. I start, you get to know that, okay, now if I have this power, with this, with a lot of power comes, so with this power, what role do I want to be? Which influencer do I want to be? That's why I ended up shifting my, I left the bar industry of saying I'm going to host every single night, because that's what I used to do. I used to host like 3 nights a week. It will still give you money, but I saw these other people who actually just go record a video and they're getting paid, and I was like, that can be
I want some of this, right?
I want some of that. I want some of that. So I was like, let me try to purpose myself into that direction, because already the following is there, you're growing, people already know you. So it's like, since I'm here, why not make the most of it? Why don't I do more research about it? So that's why I want to sit here with you and ask you so many questions.
I don't think we have the time, but I'm glad to have conversations around the influencer industry and stuff like that, and especially now with somebody who has been in it also for a while and has realized
the value of it.
The value of it, right? And also how to make the most from it, because people think just because somebody has followers,
it's not that easy.
It's a walk in the park. There are certain guidelines. There are certain paths you must follow. There are certain disciplines you must have. So there's a certain way you need to go about it.
And then you also know the most interesting part about that. Actually, when you mention it like that, I wanted to explain. You're going to find someone with 1.2 million followers, and then there's this person with her 300K, and she has contracts worth 7 million.
Absolutely, absolutely.
In influencing, and you with your 1.2, you're getting 200K.
There's a certain.
There's so much.
There's a science to it.
And that's what this series of videos is going to do. We're going to be giving you cheat codes from experience and from someone who just jumped into it. So, Mr. B, what would you think a role of an influencer?
Well, the role of an influencer is quite vast. There are many things an influencer can and should do, but one of them is shaping narratives. If somebody has an agenda they want to push, many times influencers are the ones they use to sort of low-key start planting seeds of information out there. That's one. Two, influencers sell products, obviously. Some of them straight up are sales people. So they give you a product, they say, go make noise, people buy it, we move on. Others use referrals. You share a link, somebody comes, clicks on it, you get some kind of reward, you get some kind of benefit. Others are thought-provoking influencers, right? In the sense that they talk about issues around, politics and social justice and diplomacy and climate change and all these things and health. And for them, they may not necessarily be selling a product, right? But there is a narrative or an agenda that they are selling, right? So if there's a certain political discourse that is being had, there's a certain ideology being sold, there are those kinds of influencers. Then there are also influencers who do a lot of edutainment, right? They entertain you, but they also kind of educate you on some level, right? Or as they're selling their product, they're giving you some humor, something to laugh at. You know? The Dr. Solos, the Uncle Mo's, you know. Like you watch their thing and you laugh, but you learn something, or you end up buying a product. Or stuff
but
like
I
that.
feel like even as an influencer, your content still has to have a message. You can't just wake up and you're shooting.
The challenge obviously is sometimes you wake up and you just want to talk about a song, right? And like it's not tied to anything. You're just like, I like this Winnie Nwaji song. But there'll be somebody out there who's like, who either
will like how you talk about it.
Either will like how you talk about it and they're like, okay, let me listen to. Or they'll think, no, I think this guy is an influencer. He has been paid to talk about this artist, right? So sometimes you're just living your life, right? You're just being you.
And you also,
that's why I think once you decide that you want to be an influencer, there's a certain responsibility you have that you don't just say things.
You don't. It comes with a lot of.
That once you sort of define yourself as an influencer, you have to embrace a certain responsibility and know that you're not an everyday person. That people follow your content, and some live by it. They breathe by it. They pray by it. So you've got to be careful what narrative you put out there.
So I feel like even when it comes to me, when I got to start dressing up, and I love dressing up, getting ready.
Oh, you really, really do. And it looks good on you.
Yes, I love dressing up and getting ready. So when I got to know that people are actually out there and they're going to see Christine with this kind of hair, and they're going to feel motivated enough to go and say, okay, yes, this is exactly how I want it, or I want my dress exactly in this kind of way. I want it to, and these were designs I used to make for my own self. By the way, I used to it was some closet was called Fat Closet. It was supposed to be a business venture.
What happened?
No, it was more of it was for me. I wanted to dress
just
nice.
For you.
Just for me.
But people see and they're like,
and
like
they
this.
wanted now. So I was like, hey, so people actually, why don't I make some money out of this?
Yes, and you can.
And I did, but now my tailor,
Tailors are special people.
My tailor decided to piece out on me, so I said, you know what?
But I think it's an idea you need to embrace. Maybe get 2, 3, 4 different tailors, sit down and have like a proper, because
Yeah, there are so many angles. This would
Yeah, it's a
like there are so
brilliant-
many things to benefit from it. It's either I could have taken that and say, you know what, this is the business I want to, and there are people who have done that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or I could be like, since I know I have this part to influence for outfits, let me get reach out to brands that have clothes that I can now work with them. You get what I'm trying to say? So there were two ways to look at it, and I looked at it in the influential side.
There's money to be made.
You get?
There's money to be made.
So it was. I think I was not ready to sit down and actually start on a business, because you know a business is like a child.
It is.
So,
I think though you should not kill that dream. Keep it somewhere, but visit it somewhere. Because it would make massive.
Make nice money. But you know, when you see that information you're saying of if this person is known for being like a DJ.
Yeah.
And maybe you've just liked a song, but you're going to play it, you're still going to influence what you listen to.
Absolutely.
The same thing with an influencer. Like,
you have power.
You know that people look at you because you've advertised for certain products, or you advertise this, or you go to places. Why would you go and recommend something? You get?
Like, you've got to be mindful.
You've got to be mindful of the information you put out.
The people who follow you are watching, but also brands are watching. Brands are also watching. But as an influencer, if they see that today you've gone and visited a restaurant and you've said some nice things about it and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And they're watching. They're like, okay, so this person gives good reviews, right? They reach out to you. They reach out to you. But if they realize that you're the kind of person who every time you go to a place, you have something bad to say about them, they're going to distance themselves. They'll be like, this is a tricky person to deal with. Again, atuvuma. So you've also, I know people always say that you should be free to say what you want, and I agree with that. But I think you should be mindful, right? You should be also aware that you change lives. You could change them positively or negatively. So choose to change lives positively as an influencer and make money while doing it. Why not?
And there's some influencers who know the power. It's like, there's a time I had a very bad experience with certain airlines. And you know, what pissed me off the most, that they knew who I was, they greeted, I didn't even introduce myself. They were like, oh, Christine, come here, They are trying to show you that they appreciate who you are, the work you do, you're an influencer or something. And then still time reaches and they fuck you over and they do something that contradicts what they're supposed to be doing, and you're like, so do you expect me to keep quiet about it? Do you want me to talk about it? And there's some influencers are going to go ahead and talk about it. But me, I look at it in a certain perspective of it's like you have a bad day. Like I'm Christine Nampeera, I can go and have a gig somewhere and I'm having a very rough day.
Very horrible day,
Like there's a time when I went to Dubai for a trip, I was on Ozempic. Already my moods are trying to lose weight. So there is so much going on and you're not experiencing things from a certain person that you would have already. So the client is all like, oh, Christine, you get what I'm trying to say? You could have...
You have an off day.
You cannot treat it the same, because they can have an off day as well. Yes, they may have good, but there's also some good times that certain brands have.
Yeah, and when you say that, it sort of gives me a glimpse into sometimes the struggles influencers have. That you're working for this brand, they've paid you their money, but their service is shitty. Right? Their service is genuinely poor, right?
Yeah.
So you're torn between being honest with your followers and telling them, look, even me, I don't like this.
Yes,
right?
I'm doing a good
but
job.
I have been paid. And then also you're torn between that and going back to the client and saying, by the way, this product of yours, what's up? So me, in such positions, I normally, first of all, the one thing I do a lot before I get to work with clients is I vet them. I know clients usually vet influencers, but as an influencer, I vet clients. And I think influencers need to do this. Vet the client in the sense that if they're selling you a product, first go through the product and see if it's quality. If you can attach it to your brand, because they might give you a lot of money, which is good, but you'll push a product and your followers will be like, Christine, like what are you doing to us, right? Just because you're getting your money, you've decided to give us this rubbish stuff. What is this? So
and they'll attach your name forever to the brand,
So you've got to vet them. And then apart from that, give the client honest feedback. Don't lie to them. That by the people like your thing. Don't lie to them. Tell them the truth. The thing has gone out there, they hate it. Tell them the truth. They need this feedback. Influencers sometimes are held back because, your money has been paid and you're like, I can't abuse this person. Tell them, don't take it online. Go direct to the client and tell them, look, I experienced your service, but I think this is bad, that is bad, that is bad.
Viola, I hear you. But you remember, as an influencer, you've been tasked with this, someone has given you the responsibility of making sure their brand wins no matter what.
But why did you take on that responsibility if the brand is bad?
Yes, but what if you take on the responsibility and you find out that the brand is bad while you've taken on the responsibility?
Yeah, which is where I'm saying now, go to the client, go to the brand and tell them, look, guys, this product of yours is bad. This is information coming from me.
Then you, because you know, someone can know that the product is bad, but they still want it in the industry. You know,
I get what you're saying. Now, me, I avoid such clients because I don't want to be in a position where they've paid me their money and I never. So I avoid. As a center, I let it go.
What you see, you're talking about avoiding, but what happens when you have already accepted?
Hey.
That's what I'm saying. Because remember, it's either you're having a responsibility to your followers, obviously.
You absolutely do.
But then there is also a responsibility to the fact that they've trusted you to actually do this job. You have signed a contract. Yes, you have found out a little bit inside the contract that, oh, this is actually not right for my brand. This is not okay. But then you've already said.
Yeah, I get. I think at that point you've got to bite the bullet and agree that this is a bad deal. It's a deal gone bad, and stop your brand from taking further damage or further hit, which means if you have to stop the campaign midway, stop it. As a sentence again, that is my opinion.
You think so?
Yes, because if you're building a brand of quality, there is a price you have to pay to build quality, and one price is there's sacrifice you have to make. That if you're not willing to sacrifice, there's a benefit you won't get.
If you're greedy now.
So you have to say, you know what, this money has been given to me. Let me either refund or let me not ask for the balance, but let me stop this gig for the good of my brand. So there's a sacrifice you have to make. It's tough. Because sometimes, you know, the landlord has called you and National Water is sending a message and you have to pay rent. You need this money. But the honest truth is, if you want your brand to be of quality, their clients should be able to say, you know what, your money is good, but I won't work for it. I will recommend somebody else, and you move on. Yeah,
that's actually very good advice, because it's like if you want to grow, because you know there are some influencers per se. Now, like me, it's not like I want to. There's some people who don't want to be in the industry for long. There's some people like my.
It's your pastime. It's not your.
Yes, it's like. Yes, now like me who had studied engineering, you wanted to do something different, but then the spotlight found you and now you can actually start benefiting from that same spotlight. So now if you're in that space of I'm just here for a while to get a certain amount, some mileage into what I want to do, then after you're going to leave. So you're looking at money as the end goal, and then you're talking from a perspective of someone who's looking at a career as the end goal.
But also, even if money is your end goal, and I've said this to very many people, that no matter where you are in life, if money is always your end goal, you will go for whatever price. And that's the challenge. That if money is always your end goal, it's not even just about influencer work. Anywhere in this world, if money is always your end goal, people will bring you money and ask you to do ridiculous things, and you'll do them.
But BeeWol,
that's the challenge.
You know that's literally the challenge that everyone faces in this generation as influencers. And you see that there's actually a conversation I was having with someone, and they're talking about Twitter, the difference between Twitter influencers, Instagram influencers, TikTok influencers. You can see that there are people who are good at whatever platform. And you see that people in Twitter, the section of Twitter get gigs like USAID, they get like educative, you know, that sector of that. Now there are certain gigs of promote this song. Well, you're looking. I feel like you're talking from a perspective of those people who are getting those gigs.
No.
Now there is this gig of there are these people of this industry. They actually may have more following in real life. On maybe TikTok, you're going to find someone with 2.1. Every single time I check on that app, I find different influencers I've never seen.
That is true.
With huge numbers. You get what I'm trying to say? And this person, they may not, because it has a very huge clientele.
That is true.
There are so many people to give gigs on TikTok. There are not so many people on Twitter. You get what I'm trying to say?
And I get that, and I'm okay with that. What I'm saying is, if your end goal is money, right? Embrace the fact that you'll be forced to do things you're not comfortable with. It's as simple as that. If your end goal is money, you will be asked to do things you're not comfortable with because they're paying you good money. And if you're okay with that, if you can go to sleep at night, Christine, when you've done work, like poor work, but you can sleep well at night, then it's okay, right? It's okay.
But you see, there are people every day who go to work. The people who wake up every single morning, wake up, go shower, go to work, do a very shitty job. Like you've seen shitty teachers, you've seen in every occupation, there are people who just go to work for the sake of going to work.
And what we are trying to, or what I am trying to do is to have more people be aware that being a poor, being a horrible, like a poor service provider should not be that should not be your standard. So we want more and more people to embrace quality, that we have fewer people settling.
Yes.
So that's the message we're trying to put out there.
I also, when you say it like that, it makes more sense. Because you see, before I started editing some vlogs using CapCut, I would just make my Snapchat videos, compile them, post, still I would still get the gigs. But it looks up. You reach and look at someone else's work.
Yeah, and you're like,
for me, you'll be like, hey, this person has put in so much energy. You can see clean work. You see,
absolutely.
Or that you take criticism. Me, I honestly take positive criticism, especially about influencing and gigs I do. If someone is telling you that, oh, Christine, this Christine would have been more clean about this video or something like this. Even if the other video got more likes, it was not clean.
Yes, that is.
You get what I'm trying to say? It was not as clean as it may have gotten 1 million views. Another person had 200, but the other person's video had
good quality.
And I told myself, you choose one. You choose one. You either you get the views. You can't do something ruckus. You get the views.
Yeah. So we're on the same page. At least. We're in agreement that let's have more people have cleaner work, better work, quality work, so that the entire standard.
Slow progress is still progress.
Yes, slow progress is. We have to start somewhere.
You know, I feel like in opinion, because there's some people are going to be like, Christine is a very good influencer, and then some people are going to be like, no, she's not. They're going to be like, oh, BeeWol is nice. Then others are going to be like, no, I don't like the way he does his work. You know, people in stuff that comes to
opinion,
it's very hard to classify what a good influencer.
True.
But to you, what would you think could be the qualifications to say that this is a good influencer, Nampeera is a good influencer? What do you think qualifies to be a good influencer?
I think, well, there's a number of things, and as you say, it's very opinion based, right? But there are standards, there are bare minimums that I think, an influencer
when you say it like
embody,
that,
that below this, we can all unanimously agree that this is not good. But above that, we can now say, maybe I prefer this, I prefer that. So some of the things like consistency, right? Consistency is very, very key. That you can't say you're an influencer and you're posting once every 4 months, right? Or you can't say you're an influencer for music, and you've never shared music you listen to.
I get you.
What are you telling us?
Yes.
You're saying you're an influencer for fashion, but we've never seen an outfit of yours. We've never seen a get ready with me from you, right? So the consistency to stay with the thing you say you are is very important. That if I tell people that I am an influencer, let's say for social justice, that should be what I'm defined by. So I'm consistent. I always talk about social justice issues. That consistency builds a level of loyalty, because people start to know that this guy is very loyal to this subject, and therefore, if there's anything around that thing, this is the guy we talk to.
Oh yeah, that actually makes sense, because you see, now like there is this lady on TikTok who does restaurant reviews.
Yeah.
You see the fact that she's consistent, that she does.
Yes.
You see, I see what you're saying, but also, please note, BeeWol, there are also people who do restaurants and also go and do a music.
And that's okay.
Yeah, you see it. But I know what you're saying with that, because you see, when you decide to choose a niche, and you decide a niche is like, a category. If you decide to choose a niche and focus on it, the chances of you getting more money in that niche are high.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then even that person who also chooses, I feel like it's
and look,
to each its own.
Yeah, but the consistency for me is not so much around, let's say, a particular subject, like a niche or whatever. The consistency is in providing content.
Yes.
Right? That, okay, if you say you're going to be a social media influencer on Instagram, right?
Post on Instagram.
Whether you have a niche or not, post on Instagram.
Exactly. I get you.
Like that's a bare minimum.
Yes.
That's, at least we can all agree. Let's see your account alive. You can't tell people you're an influencer on YouTube. You have one YouTube video, right?
Makes sense. I have one short,
right?
on YouTube.
Like if you say you are something, be that thing. So that consistency is what I'm speaking of, not necessarily in terms of the niche. So when you say that I want to be an influencer on TikTok, let's see your content on TikTok, even if it's poor content, but put it there. Let it be there. Let's see today, tomorrow. Like, let's see a lot of content on TikTok from you, and then we can know that, by the way, this person is an influencer on TikTok. So that consistency is one. The other thing that I think influencers need to embody, or a quality influencer needs to have, is a sense of responsibility. Responsibility in the sense that you're out there to make money, yes, but you're responsible for how people perceive you. For example, if a client comes and tells you, we're paying you 10 million shillings per post to go and abuse that person, right? They're giving you money, which is good.
Yes.
But you owe your followers a certain sense of responsibility. That Gwengo Muntu, is this what you comfortably want to give your followers?
Is this how you want to be portrayed?
Exactly. So every influencer should have that sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
Also, if a client calls you and says, I have my product, and they tell you it's a poor quality product, but I want you to push it. The sense of responsibility to be able to say, I think my clients deserve to be protected from this bad product. If somebody else can push it, let them push it. But me as me, I won't. So that responsibility is
but
also
that also gets very interesting because you see, Bill, the gig that you will refuse, someone else is going to accept.
No, I'm not saying that someone else shouldn't, yeah? And that's what I'm saying.
But you see, the same people who follow you are the ones who follow that someone else.
It's okay. My point is, again...
Do I want people to perceive me that way?
If that's what you want people to perceive you as, well and good. But what we are trying to do is to create a level of respect in the industry so that people don't look at influencers as brainless people. Because right now, there is the assumption that influencers will take any money for anything. Why do you think that is? Because they don't have that sense of responsibility.
But you see, we will look at it in a way of, you see, I understand you, and I also tell people the exact same thing, but I want, now that we've been talking about it, now that I'm actually sitting down to analyze the industry that I'm in, you look at it in a way of actors, yes? You're going to see them go out there and act. You're going to see, okay, like, let's give an Angelina Jolie.
Okay. Okay.
If you wake up and see her, or any actor you know, you wake up and you're used to this person in this role, in this masculine. The biggest. What's it, Dwayne Johnson?
Okay.
We have seen The Rock in movies where he's head of police in Fast and Furious, where he was the head of police hunting down the bad guys. We have seen him in Moana. Make way.
Well, had him, not seen him, had him, but okay.
Okay, had him, but like, okay, either way.
I get it,
We have, okay, then we have also seen him in comedies like Centrate, like in those comedies he has done. We have seen him putting on clothes that would be like, hey, but we also understand that he's just an actor. We have separated him from the role. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I get it.
Shouldn't influencers also...
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because, listen.
I thought you were going to agree.
No, I'm sorry. Listen, influencers are not like actors. No. Influencers, you know what influencers are doing? They're trying to shape narratives. Dwayne Johnson is trying to entertain you.
But
he's entertaining you.
An influencer can also be an entertainer.
Yes, you can also be an entertainer, that's okay. But in your entertainment, know at the back of your mind that your core thing is not entertainment. That's not your core thing. You're using entertainment to pass your message, but your core thing is not entertainment. For Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, entertainment is the core thing. Do you see the difference? That if somebody has a brand that they want you to push, and you are a person who uses humor, humor is is sort of the road you're using, but the destination is the product must be sold, right?
Okay. Yes.
So humor cannot be the most important thing.
But you see, it's the exact same thing with a movie, because remember, at the end of the day,
movie is all about making money.
They want the movie to be a blockbuster. They want a movie to be successful. Yes.
So if they need the man to be funny, he'll be funny. If the man needs to be, ridiculous, he'll be ridiculous. At the end of the day, the goal is they're making a movie, they need to entertain and make money. But for you, at the end of your day, is the goal to entertain? No. The goal is to send the message about the product.
Okay, the goal is to make sure you sell products well.
Yes.
Like a product can easily come to you and say...
So that's why I say that influencers have got to understand that they are not entertainers. You can use entertainment, but you're not an entertainer. You understand that? That you know, there are also entertainers who just influencers. Absolutely, I get it. And the two can sort of mingle. And,
but if you're just like influencing...
ultimately, if you say that I want to be an influencer, you must understand that you shape narrative. You make people make life-changing decisions based on the things you share, the content you share.
Yeah, especially like us now. Now you see now, I feel like you see now influencing. You know that influencers, like you can see someone who's a dancer. You clearly know that in their content, if they're marketing, let me say Red Bull, they're going to dance. If they're going to market chicken, they'll still find a way of making it about dance. But now if you're just there, I don't want to say talentless like me.
I feel like I'm hearing that.
Because you see now,
Yeah, you're just there.
I'm just there. I literally wake up and just do.
But
I just leave. It's not like I wake up and you know that those who are going to use their voice.
Yeah,
you get like everyone knows her because she has a nice voice, but she influences also.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? Those ones it's easier for them as influencers.
Are you telling me you don't know why you're an influencer?
No.
Right? So listen.
No, it's not that. It's just these are people who have seen how Christine lives her life. Because me, I began my online presence by just wanting a place to put my pictures.
Yeah.
I wanted an online gallery.
Which pictures are very attractive to people, right? And that is your selling point, that, you know what, I know that I've got a good thing that you can look at. So I'm going to use this good thing that you can look at, yes, to sell my product or to sell my... So you have your talent, quote unquote. You have your talent.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So everybody has got something they're putting on the table. Everybody has got something. It's for another person, I may not look as good as you do, right? But perhaps I'm good at weaving words, or I have a good sense of humor, or I can dance.
Draw.
Yes. So everybody has something they can put on the table. The challenge is, before you go into becoming an influencer, first figure out what that thing is. So most people get into becoming an influencer, and then
it's just about realizing it. Now me, I found out and had to realize, finding out that...
You've never really known that you're pretty. You've never known that you're a good-looking person.
I have.
So what are we?
No, but I didn't. It was not something that I didn't notice that that's what people were following by the time.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It has always been it. And
what if it's just your fashion sense?
Oh wow!
Or the fact that I edit my videos in a nice way.
Really? You think that's it?
Or I have a very nice sense of music.
I have news for you. I have news for you. It's
but there are people who follow for various reasons. Some people may like my laughter.
Oh wow!
Others may be like,
I wish them all the best. I wish them all the best. I wish them all the best.
Anyway, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah, so you think consistency is basically what makes a good influencer?
Yeah, consistency is very good. And also, as I said, you've got to be responsible for the content you share, and then also you've got to research, read, learn. Allow yourself to find out what's happening out there, what's trending, what are people doing. Like if you want to get into video, what are the applications people are using? How do people,
how do they edit?
How do they edit? Like learn those things. And teaching yourself is a very important thing, because the industry we are in, one advantage we have is you don't need to go to a university to become excellent. Yeah?
Yes.
There's a lot of resource online. Get on YouTube, learn. If you want to be a big Instagrammer, find out what does it take to be good.
What are the peak hours?
Exactly.
All
what are the peak hours? Yes,
yes.
Find out. So if you want to be big on Twitter, so research, enrich yourself with information, with knowledge. That's a very, very important thing. Many influencers are lazy, right? Like you have your 100K, 200K, 500K followers, and you feel like, no, I don't need to learn anything. But I can tell you that social media platforms change every damn day.
But you see, that's one way to look at it.
You've got to be dynamic.
Yes, BeeWol, that's one way to look at it, because you can better your skill and still grow your followers. And there are also people who are going to major in bettering what made them get the following in the first place. Yeah. You get like what we talked about. If someone is good at drawing, they're going to just say, okay, you know what? Let me improve my talent. The followers,
which is good.
Yes, so it goes both ways. Yeah. But if you're focusing on growing as an influencer, which one do you think is the best direction? To grow your talent, the reason why people followed you in the first place, or to develop that skill?
No, but you see, your talent is useless if you don't know how to use the platforms.
That's wrong. No. Because you see, there are people who
you must know how to use the platform. There are people who are very, very good at certain things, but they never really blow up online. Why? They're not using those platforms the right way. So my point is, you have this talent and that's good, but learn how the platform works. Like you said, peak hours, find out those things. Yes, you might be a good artist. Somebody might be a poor quality artist, but they have more followers and they're getting more money. But you're a better artist. You're not using the platform better. So learn how to use the platform. That's the enrichment I'm talking about. Find out what are other artists doing. What connections are they making? What networks are they making? Enrich yourself. That's
makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. I'm so glad we're having these conversations, because you see, honestly, hearing from both perspectives is interesting, because you get to know people who have actually taken initiative to get to, because I've heard of conferences of just people talking about influencing and if you're already getting money, you don't see the need.
But there's always
something to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's actually very good to have this conversation. So I'm glad we shall be talking about
for the guys who are watching, I mean, one of the things one of the reasons why I joined Social Gems is because I feel like this is a place where finally I can sit down and have these conversations over and over, and people can learn that being an influencer, it's a wonderful thing, it's a beautiful thing, but it requires some work, it requires some hard work, it requires discipline, it requires, for you to tick certain boxes, and you can make ridiculous money.
And this is what actually Social Gems is basically all about. What I've been trying to share on all my platforms, telling people that influencing is not just about people. People look at it in a very clouded, way. But we are here to break it down for you to actually know that there's so much possibilities. You actually sit on gold.
Yes.
You sit on gold. You sit on so much money you can make. We are making money from it. We are living testimonies here to guide you on that path. And, we also learn together because we're also not perfect. We're also just learning.
Yeah, but we learn every day.
We learn every single day. So, I think we shall be having more of these conversations that we can get to know what influencing is, what Social Gems is all about, because we're here to bridge the gap between influencers and brands.
Absolutely.
And you need to know what an influencer is, what a brand is, and how they all come together.
Yeah.
We're basically dissecting it. Yes, so...
Next time we shall need to have a drink.
Yeah,
we shall need to have a drink because it's a very dope conversation.
Right, so. And it keeps getting deeper.
Tujabala next time.
Next time.